How y'all doing today?
Good afternoon. Great.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's show is we're going. I guess we're looking into the future of the question. I guess is at hand is retirement a realistic goal? Do you feel as though when a person retires, they can actually do what a retiree should be doing?
Well, I'll start. I think well, kind of no now, but I think back in the days when people used to work and they worked up into a certain age bracket, and based on their job that they had and how much they made and how much they've had in their savings and their 401k, they could do that back then. But I think now, since everything has changed and the economy is up so high and people are not getting, really paid good and they're not getting the hours and stuff like that, I think that once you retire from one of your jobs, which you can do 20 years, I think you have to still go back out and work, because retirement, it is a joke, because they continuously put up the age for when you can retire.
Right.
And so I think retirement is not realistic anymore, because of the fact that really, what is retirement? Can you really retire? So most people now, after they retire from either maybe the military or a civil service job, they still go out here and they get another job or do side gigs, because retirement is really a joke. It's not realistic anymore. It's really not.
Okay. So
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Eric. I'll ask you. What are your take on that?
It's a joke. I don't think it has ever, doing some research, I don't think it was ever a time where you could, because if you think about it, retirement, you're not making, let's just use the military, you're not making that active duty pay no more. They slash it in some cases more than half. So really, what is retirement? Because really, the truth about the matter is retirement is otherwise known as a savings account, because the prices go up, your pay go down, the prices go up, and they consistently go up. So retirement basically means leaving one job and going to another one, because to be able to keep up with the current economy, you have to work.
Right.
And especially with dealing with now, the misconception is they'll come on there and tell you, oh, nobody wants to work. Oh, nobody wants to work. But the truth of the matter is, if you apply, you don't get hired. So then they turn around and say again, it's a never-ending circle. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work. That's not a true statement, because people want to work, because there are people that want to make a good better living, or want to be able to take care of themselves, but you won't hire them because you're doing these little ghost jobs that you have no intention on hiring anybody. And it's just like retiring. It's a joke. It is. It is. There's no such thing, especially when you get up there in the age bracket. Prices triple when you get up there. You in your 60s, in your 70s and 80s. It's ridiculous. Oh, get life insurance. The older you get, the more it costs. Doesn't matter whether you got a clean bill of health or not. They're assuming that you're going to be in bad health. So we're going to go ahead and get as much as we can from you now. And then we'll think about it once you pass on and then go from there. It's all a joke. It's just another play on words. That's what this economy is, a play on words.
Right. Well, see, to me, I think that, like, when you do retirement, you really have to, really have to actually plan it out. I know with me, when it came down to retirement, most of the time, like for people in the military services, when you hit 15 years, you have that option. I'm not sure if they still have that option. But you have an option where you can choose your that's when you have to pick out your actual retirement plan. And that's like either you're going to do high 3 or redux. And the only thing is that with the redux, you're just taking a kind of like an advance payment from your retirement. And it's beneficial for some if they use it correctly, but for some people they take it and they do whatever. So, but that's what you're choosing. And just like you were saying before, if you choose that, then you're only getting 40% of your basic pay,
Right.
times three, I guess. So, like the average of your last 3 years. So, that's just one of those things that people have to understand. That when you're talking about retirement, you really start to think. And I'm be honest, I'll tell somebody the moment you get a job and you start making decent money, you need to go ahead and start making your plan, your retirement plan. Because if
Mhm.
I had to do it all over again, I think I would have probably did more. I would have invested into the thrift savings plan a lot earlier than what I did. So
Right.
just try to find out what tools. And I think like one of the things I was reading earlier today is people who invest their money um, as a retirement plan are the ones that take the higher risk because investments can come and go. I mean, especially they say a lot of people have lost a lot of money within this last year.
Yeah, because look at what happened with the 401k.
Right,
There are millionaires who speak publicly about financial literacy, saying run. Don't get it. If you ever have a chance, don't get it. And you
Yeah.
just see it in big letters. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And it's like the unless you are a millionaire, the retirement thing doesn't work because you have to have expendable funds. You have to have them because if you don't, you're gonna be stuck. Like we did the redux bonus, and that benefited us because 5 years out, we decided to start prepping for retirement. Then we're not gonna sit here and wait like an eye on the log. I said, what else we gonna do? We made sure we were debt free upon retirement. We were debt free, so that took us right into the home buying stuff,
right.
and we just one after the other because you have to prepare. If you don't prepare, you just blow money because you know you're gonna get it next month. You're gonna end up hurting. We sat in on class. We did the financial thing, and when I gave the lady my financial report, she asked me straight up, are you telling the truth? I said, yeah. This is what we have. That's it. Like, yeah. And that'll be paid off by the time we leave. Well, you know what? You need to get this class and not me because there are some people 90 days away from retirement and deep in their eyeballs with debt.
Right.
And you have to plan for that, man.
You have
Also,
to.
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Also, too, Mario, like what he was saying is the fact that, like, I've always been a thinker that thinks like 10 years down the road and stuff like that. And I also too by my mom what she taught me and instilled in me. I was telling my husband, I like he's right. We did think about retirement. We also thought about too, like you said, we didn't want our goal was to not leave the military when I say we had no bills,
None.
we had no bills, Mario. You know what I'm saying? Because when he retired, we was renting a property. We had bought we had sold our home and then we rented a property and stuff like that. But and also too, we think about like when you retire, you have to, you get a certain amount of money. You see what I'm saying? And then you have to live within that, even because you're not going to touch
You're on a
retirement.
fixed income, right? The thing is, we're on a
Right.
fixed income. Everything changes, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless we touch money if it's an emergency. And so we always told the kids that just because you might have money in your saving account, you don't have no money. It's like you don't have money in your saving account. You know what I'm saying? And so we're not the type of people that because it's there, we're just gonna spend it. And so we always, thought ahead. And I know that like he said, when he was going through those classes for retirement, they really thought that we was like he didn't fill out the form right. Because we supposed to put all our debt down there, everything. And he was like, this is all we got. She's like, no way. He's like, yeah, way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, she apologized to him because she had so many people come through her and she just knew it was horrible. It was just straight horrible. And she would tell him straight up, at this point, you need to serve long in the military because you're deep in debt and retiring is just gonna make it that much harder for you.
Right.
You have to plan for things. You have to you're gonna be on a fixed income, so you have to plan accordingly. So we got a home warranty. Okay, we got a home warranty, so we ain't got to worry about that. We got this insurance, we got that insurance, we got this, we got that. And it came to fruition when we had the little incident at the house. Call insurance, sent the dude out there, got stuff done, and being over it. See, people's idea of saving money, so a lot of them have it misconstrued. You mean you think saving money is not having a home warranty? No, you're wasting money because if something happens, you are responsible for it. Do you want to pay for a roof? No, I don't think I got $13,000 I want to spend just like that on the roof.
Right.
But you get a home warranty, you don't have to worry about it. Pay your little deposit and be done. We've used the home warranty all the time, and it paid $5,000 worth of work here, $2,000 worth of work here. Oh, you just pay your little $150, have them do their thing, go on about your business. They didn't do it right, call them back, have them come back out there and fix it. I didn't know garage doors were as expensive as they are.
Right. But see, that's something that, but that's something like when you're doing the planning phase.
That's right.
You don't take time out to think about all these things, because when it's the difference when you're renting from someone, because you're not responsible for the maintenance of that place. But when you buy a house, there's a lot of things that come with that. And so when you're doing your retirement, like, okay, what is comfortable? Because, like, for example, most military could never live off just a retirement. There's no way they can live off just, not unless they do 30 years. Then that's possible. But just off of, like, if you do your 20 years and walk away with your retirement, you're not making enough. You won't be knowledgeable again. Maybe you're an officer, but it's not enough, because I mean, you talk about anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000, and that's just not enough to be retired on. Because when you're retired, that fixed income, like you said, the garage breakdown, the water heater goes out, AC unit blows up or freezes and messes up. Those are unexpected bills or things that you got to take care of. So when people talk about retirement, just like I sit back. And it's sad here, especially here in Fayetteville, you have all these mom and pop shops to where people are working these mom and pop shops, but then they're not getting any retirement. There's no benefits.
Right.
And that's another thing that people need to take in consideration is what, like the way things are going now, how many of y'all are actually going to take time out and think your Social Security is going to be present when it's time for you to need to pull it?
Just saying, they trying because they trying to get rid of it.
And then there's three things. You have, like, since we talk about retirement, you have retirement, you have savings, and you have credit. You know what I'm saying? And we consider all those because we knew once we retired, we have to have savings for rainy days and emergencies. And then you have to have the credit when you don't have the money to be able to get things. You understand? And so, and that's how our thought process was going into retirement. That we had to have all those things in place. Just like when we came back from South Carolina and we came here and we found a realtor and we rented a house, they wanted some $1,000 for us just to put earnest money down. And just think, Mario, if we wouldn't have never had our savings and stuff like that, we wouldn't have been able to get them people the tens of thousands of dollars they wanted for us to put for, even though we got like 85% back of our earnest money, but it's because of the fact when you a custom home build, that means that if you back out the deal, they can keep your money because this is a custom home.
It's stuck.
So once you give them the earnest money, that means that when they build this house, you're gonna go through with the go through with it. So that way, after you close and everything, you'll get 85% of your earnest money back, which was a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But just think, if we wouldn't have never saved, we wouldn't have been able to put down the amount of money that they want us to put down on the house. So I think all those come together too: is credit, savings, and retirement.
But see, the thing is, though, if you don't get things in order prior to retirement, that's where, and see what people, you can't learn financial literacy within 3 months. You can't learn it within 6 months. You can't learn it within 12 months. This is something to where you have to practice it and understand it to make sure it works within the budget that you got to come up with.
Yeah.
And I think that is the biggest thing about retirement is like right now, North Carolina just passed some crazy law where it's going to affect everybody's insurance. It should actually the law went in effect July 1st. So when your insurance goes up, that means for your car and your house, depends upon how you're paying your house note. Your what's the thing called what's the thing that you always pay into when you're buying your house?
Escrow.
Is escrow?
Your escrow gets hit because of the things that are going on in the world in the economy, and so that is something that you won't learn that until you actually buy a property or buy a home, and then that's when you start to see that okay, yeah, this is your fix what you're gonna get, but guess what? If the insurance goes up or if the insurance policy changes to where now and see that's what with North Carolina, it's like I think what is that most insurance they said most insurance is going to go up anywhere between $37 to $87 for car insurance, and then for housing, it can go anywhere between I think it's say from 125 to 250,
Yeah.
and you're going to see an increase on your thing. And I sat there and I thought about it, I said, wow. And so sure enough, yeah, I was like, I got hit both. I'm like, wow. My car insurance, I found out today, is going up $37, and then the other one is like, it's going up quite a bit as well. So it's like, so here it is. If you had to live just off your retirement, you have unexpected bills. Those dollars start to add up quick when you're on a fixed income.
And then just think about the food we have to eat. So think about the food too. That's a bill. You know what I'm saying? That's money you got to have to the side too, because it don't matter what you're going nowadays. You going to the grocery stores and you try to buy something to eat food. It's like you come out, you like everybody like, what? I ain't even got no meat. You know what I'm saying, Mario?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've eaten many mayonnaise sandwiches in my life, so I know. You know, look.
I like mayonnaise sandwiches too. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Meat, well, a luxury, sometimes, but that's something that people.
Right.
That's something that we got to take into consideration, because when you retire, you're on a fixed income, and that's why you see so many people who are older working at these fast food restaurants or working at Walmart, working at these different places, because Social Security, disability, retirement is not enough money to live off of.
This 80-year-old lady, they did a GoFundMe for her. She had to go back to work at Lowe's to take care of her and her 90-year-old husband who's got a bunch of issues. She had to go back. She said that money is just not enough. Just not enough. And I was watching some on the comedian Country Wayne. He said, shoot, my favorite meal is rice and butter beans. So I'm gonna be all right in this economy. He said rice and butter beans is his favorite meal. I don't need no meat. No, I'm good. I'm good. And that's what people don't understand when it comes to retirement. That S word. That's sacrilegious to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Sacrifice. You can't do everything. You can't live like you were in E7, even a sergeant major in the Army, because your pay is cut over half. You can't live like that. You have to accept it. And the good feeling is, which is sad, but the not having debt, man, you got all type of conversation when we sitting in there getting the house finance, getting ready to tell you the whole life story. And it makes it easier on you because you don't have to worry about nothing. So her telling us, I'm sorry, the realtor, him telling us don't get nothing, don't do nothing on your credit till close. That don't mean nothing to us, because we hear you. We're not gonna do that. We already know we're not gonna do that, because they told us horror stories about people getting a dream house and end up missing out on closing because they went and put some on their credit.
Right.
To close. We're not telling you that you can't. We're just telling you to wait until you close. That's what they told us. We're telling you to wait till you close. There are so many people who ended up, boom, went and bought a car. Oh, you missed out. So that's why you have to be prepared. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So in case it does happen, i.e. job market, you still prepared kind of sort of, so you can go ahead and get, like you said, you can't wait 3 months out and try to
Right.
become financially literate. And you can't say, well, you should start 5 years out. Everybody ain't gonna think that way.
No, actually, yeah. Because I mean, to be safe, whatever your retirement, if you're going to retire at 20, you need to start planning 10 years in advance. If you're going to retire at 30, that's 15 years. And see, what people have to understand is that you have to look. You got to take a lot of stuff into consideration because, like, your mortgage is not going to stay the same every
Mm-mm.
year. That
Mm.
thing is going to. The way things have been going lately, it's not really the mortgage, it's more so the escrow that has an impact on why your numbers are changing. And I think that's something that people need to be prepared for. So, okay, are you going to live in a trailer or are you going to live in a house? Or are you going to live in a 2-bedroom or are you going to live in a 5-bedroom? All those are different factors. Because I'm not sure if y'all looked at the market lately, but the houses, the money they're asking for houses now is extremely crazy.
Right.
So if you're retiring and you're trying to settle down, I mean, you ain't got no choice, but you're gonna have to go get another job.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get some income because you can't make it off of what they're doing for retirement.
Yeah, it's a seller's market.
So
So
I know,
you
like,
can sell your house. You can 100% sell your house and it will go in a
Right.
couple of days. But getting you another one, so you better do what this one dude did. He got lucky. The house he seen that he liked, it just so happened the homeowner was wanting to move to where he was coming from. So they just, well, however they did it, they had a word for it. They just traded houses. He got here, and they were good because both of them were saying the same thing. I'm not spending that for that house, and that's what's keeping a lot of people at bay. And that's why they tell you if you got one, keep it for now until the market changes because you can sell your house. You can sell your house. You can sell our house. They'll probably sell at the same amount of time in a couple of days. I won't even say a week, a couple of days. But trying to find one,
that's a whole nother challenge.
ooh man, good luck with that one. You can't even default back to apartments because they out of control.
Right. I mean, because you might as well, if you're gonna pay rent for a part, you might as well pay for a house.
And then the economy don't even, it shouldn't even be this way. But you know we know what kind of government we have, and it's ridiculous because things does not have to go up. They just don't. I mean, as many as people that's in this world that needs the same things, like even gas. If they put gas, let's just say Mario and Eric, they put gas at $1.99 a gallon, $2 a gallon. There's no reason for it to keep on fluctuating because everybody is a need for everybody to use these things. And
Right.
like even with food, the stuff don't have to go up, but it's just that it seems like they just want people to stay in poverty, stay at a certain level while they move up.
The
And
rich
it's
stay rich.
it's just sad.
It is more so to where it's just everybody's trying to get rich. Everybody wants to make a profit. So
Right.
like that's why you see the prices always changing, is because people want to make a profit. They're like even now, and it's sad to say, is you have people getting rich off the poor or off of the poverty. It's got to me, it's like wow, how are people who are going through something now going to be able to live a good retirement or a good life as they get older? Because that's the sad thing is you sit back and you see these individuals that they worked 20, 30 years at this one location, but because there was no retirement plan, there was no investment, there was nothing in place, they retired, but then have to go right back to work.
Mm-hmm. And the people that cause we talk to our grandson every day, the people that work at these quote unquote factories that should have benefits for the amount of work that they do, but they don't have benefits. So they do 20 years for what? You still back to square one once you start working there because you're aged out or something. You got to get something with benefits in it. It's to the point now where, if I'm not mistaken, they give you a choice now whether you want their insurance or not, so they don't have to pay it. And it's just crazy the way things are now. It's crazy, but you do want something that you can retire from
Right.
because because the way things are now. I feel sorry for the ones coming up behind us. It's horrible out there. I'm so glad my daughter got the job that she has. She can retire from it, and she loves it as well. So we was talking to her. We talked to all of them about that because you're not getting younger, you're getting older.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be able to go. Ooh, my tooth hurt. Let me go to the dentist. Ooh, I fell, hurt my ankle. Let me go to the doctor instead of sitting at home gritting your teeth because you're in pain and hoping that it go away. A Tylenol at the death. You have to plan ahead. You have to plan ahead. You cannot do short-term planning. You cannot. It does not work. It's just what it says. Short-term, 30 seconds. But you should always be long-term planning focused. That will lead you into retirement. That will help you when you reach Social Security age to be able to make a way. But if you don't, you keep that short-term mentality. Them 20 years gonna sneak up on you real fast, and that in prior to you leaving, you ain't gonna have a chance to sit down and take a break. You gotta leave one job and go to the next. You gotta go from that uniform to being.
Let me ask y'all a question. What y'all think realistically? What should be a retirement age? Like what do y'all think?
I think 50 should be a retirement age.
I think
I think after, because you think about it, you come into the real world at 18, 17, right. 18, 19 years old. Okay, that's 20, was it 25? That's almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Work.
That's enough.
That to me, I think that's way more than enough. I mean, now don't get me wrong, of course people can retire earlier based off the military, but I think after the age of 50, you reach a halfway mark because you're only going to get anywhere between 20 to, like, if your health is good, if you're healthy, you're probably making another 40 plus years, 40 to 50 years. But if your health is not good, you're looking at maybe 25 more years of life. 25 was, I think, what they say, 75, 76 now. Now 76 is like, so you talk about 26 years. Well, 26, what 30 more years. Like, so you look at 26 more years of your life. Wait a minute, 25. I think like 30. How was it? 31.
Yeah.
Like 31 years of your life. So 25. So well, my numbers are off right now, but you look at anywhere between 25 to 30 more years of life after 50. So people have to understand, it's like, okay, but you got people now working all the way up to 72.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
some older than that.
So older than that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I say. At what point in time should people? And I mean, you hear about some of these other countries to where they're able to retire at like between 45 and 50.
They have actual retirement.
Wow.
Because what that's going to do is if Mario knows that at 50 he can retire and be done, that's going to make 18-year-old Eric want to get into the workforce because that gives me something to work forward to. That gives me something. It only helps the economy. It only helps the government when you have something like that to look forward to. There are countries, especially the military, that hold them in high regard. You retire with a gold watch, a home, and a car. Boom. Enjoy the rest of your life. You did your part. See, they don't want to speak about that.
Right.
There are companies that give you nice little benefits package. Who don't do that? America does. But they want you to think that everybody else is as bad as we are. No, that's not. You should appreciate the ones, give the ones that are going to work hard to retirement age, and you'll have everybody else following in their footsteps.
Right. Y'all, the government work 2 years, and the government, work 2-3 years,
Senate,
and then the Senate, and then y'all can retire for the rest of y'all life, but everybody's still struggling And you know,
We gotta do 20.
no matter what age, then you got to fight for your disability and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, like you said, there's other countries that take care of their people that retire.
Yeah,
they do.
Do simple research.
Because if you, like
see.
you said, if you retire at 50, but then you have to go back to work and you work until you're 72 or 75, you're not even gonna be enjoy your life because you're working just to live. You know, so it's just sad.
It is.
And I think that's one of the key things is that we have to start teaching our youth, our younger children,
Yeah.
How important your credit is, how important to savings is. And like, because like I sit back and I've seen too many episodes where like of course most of us didn't learn until after we became grown, until we got our own. But I think that's one of those things that where people need to understand that you can't live like some people say, oh well, I can't take it with me. Okay, you're right, but you don't want to have to live a rough life because you didn't have it.
And that's a misconception too. You can't take it with you. So what you're saying is I should be irresponsible, not accountable, and put it on somebody else at the end.
When I'm short.
Because you short. You know, you can't say you can't take it with you.
But that's the thing that's going on though, is we have so many people that are doing that.
They took it the wrong way is what they did. Just like anything else, they took it the wrong way. You can't take it with you. That means that you have to live your life accordingly. That's what that means. Accordingly, not recklessly, accordingly. You can't take it with you. So at the end, basically what you can't take it with you means living a life of abundance. No regrets when it's the end of your life. That's what that means. Because the way these people now are saying it, you're gonna be laying in the hospital, shoulda, woulda, coulda, until you flatline.
So that's what like Thomas just like said. If you talk about retirement, you got to plan, and that's what I sit back and I see people, and I was like, you know, because I think about like how many people when you were in high school had that conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone in high school have a conversation with y'all about retirement?
No.
But
So when was the first time? At what age or what was going on in your life when retirement came up?
First time it was when we had a talk when we woke. It's like I told her I was talking to her. I said, babe, you know, it's been 10 years since I've been in. Yeah, you know what's coming next. I said, what, retirement? And it stayed at the back of her mind, and then we got serious at 15. We got to read I talked to her about it. Said, hey, because the trick to it was if you're deployed, you get the full amount.
Right. It can't be taxed.
I was in Kuwait by 24 hours. And see, people don't realize that's why I stayed back to push everybody out Kuwait. So I want to get mine. And that time right there is what got me the full amount. Okay, so what we going to do with this? We get ready to take this money. We're going to start paying this debt off. Along with the military pay. We're going to pay this debt off. And we're going to be debt free when we leave here. We don't want these problems. We know what we want to do. Boom. And that's what we did. We spent sparingly. We talked to each other. We made sure we budgeted. That's another bad word that people don't like. That's another cuss word, budget.
Because I think let me see what year. I think we was in Georgia I think it was in 2000. I want to say maybe 2000 Mario, 2002 we started really saving. Like we really started saving.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came to my husband, I proposed, I had a plan to how we're gonna, get out of debt and stuff like that. And sometimes it's fortunate, like I said, my mom passed away, of course. She left us some stuff. But then it's like instead of us taking that money and just splurging, we made sure that we paid off everything that we had. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate that my mother passed away, but she left her children 401k and other insurance stuff like that. So we didn't decide to just take the money and just go blow it. You know what I'm saying? So I came to my husband one day and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to get all our bills and I want to I want to put money over here. And that's what we did, Mario. So we've been doing that since, I think, like, matter of fact, 2002, my mom passed away in 2002. So
that's one of those things too. Like me, I didn't. It's like that was that moment in time where I was like, okay, either I'm going to get out the military, or I'm going to go ahead and do this last enlistment, re-enlistment, to do 20. Because my thing is, if you go past 10, you might as well stay in and retire.
You might as well. You hit 10.
I tell people that all the time. Once you get past 10, it's downhill. So me, I was at 8 years, and I was like, do I want to get out? I kind of peeked out there. You know how you put that pinky toe in the water to make sure it's not too cold or too hot? So I kind of put that pinky toe out there in the economy, and I saw it was nothing going on good. I said, I think I'm going to stay my butt right in here, and I'm going to make it work. And I did. So my goal was to do 23, but I only did 21, and I got out. But that's one of those things to where being in the military, there's no other industry that can match what the military does.
Hands down.
You're not doing anything better than the military. I mean, because when you serve, it's not just the retirement, but it's all the additional benefits that you get.
Yeah.
So those are things people have to look at. It's like, okay, you can't. What kind of things are you going to do to prepare yourself?
Yeah.
That's why I say retirement now in 2025 is not really a realistic goal, because most people nowadays have to focus living paycheck to paycheck because how messed up the economy is.
Yeah, because for me, my dad, I love the man. He never had to put his hand on me. He never had to raise his voice. I went to that man 3 years in, because my first enlistment was 4 years. I was in Germany. And I had told him I wanted to get out and have my college paid for. All right, cool. George was going to hook me up. All right, cool. I called him. He said, yeah. I said, Dad, I want to talk to you. He said, okay, what's up, son? I said, yeah, everything good? I said, yeah. I said, I want to get out. And I can just stay with you while I go to school. He said, no. I said, excuse me? He said, no. He said, ain't nothing out here. There's nothing out here, son. You need to go on and stay in there. That's doing good and it's making a man out of you. Don't come out here and then you're going to be boo-hooing to me because you can't find nothing. Stay in. He said, give it a few more years. You know what I'm saying? That 10 years, you ready to get out? I'm going to support you 100%. Not knowing the whole time that was a life lesson, because he knew what I didn't know, is that if I do 10 years, I might as well do another 10 and make it 20. And yeah, I talked to him, and that's why I stayed in. And it wasn't. I did my little research. The job market just wasn't there, so I stayed in. And we don't just budget. We think it through before we say this is what we're gonna do, because you can have the right intentions, but the wrong execution. So what we decided was, okay, what bills do you have? Okay, what bills do I have? So your bills is less than mine. Let's do yours completely. And then as we took a bill, we took that money, applied to another bill, applied to another bill, applied to another bill. Fast forward to the financial briefing. I had to, she wasn't rude or nothing. It's just she couldn't believe it that we had nothing. The little one thing we had was AFES. That was the only one we had left. And I told her by the time we retired, that's going to be paid off. Okay, well, yeah.
No, I think AFES was paid off. I don't think
whoever it was. We only had like one thing on there.
Right.
And that was our plan. You have to plan.
And then also too, Mario, when we left Georgia, I knew that, because that's when I started the phase of like saving money and putting, making sure our credit was good and all the bills was paid off. And then we wanted to buy our first home once we got left to Georgia to be stationed at Fort Bragg for the first time. I think
that was the first home.
So I told him, I said, I want us to be in a position to where when we go to people, we tell them what we want,
Well, not the other way around.
not them telling us what we can get. You know what I'm saying? And so that was
Right.
always our mindset to go a house, a car, whatever the case may be, and let them know that this is what I want. And so we was able to do that. And so, like I said, I wrote up a plan, and me and Eric, we executed it together. And I was like, we were doing it. We've been doing it ever since 2002. So that's why, like I said, whenever we came here and we decided to leave South Carolina and come back here, the earnest money that they asked for, we was able to go to our bank account and just give it to them. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
a lot of people can't do that today because a lot of people that probably don't even have $500 set up in their account.
When you
I got $5.
yeah.
I know. Right.
When you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Mm-hmm.
That saying is so true. Whichever way you want to put it, you plan to fail when you fail to plan, and that is the truth. What did that financial guy say? You should be able to have. You have a valid savings account. It should be 6 months. I think it is. Whatever you paying in your bills every month, you should have 6 months of that saved up. Somehow he was saying that.
That's
Yeah,
why
it's 6 months.
Huh?
Because I think that is like anywhere between 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Because they say 6 months because 6 months good, but if you have a year, you're safe.
Yeah.
Because if you need to take a break away from things, because they say after you go past 1 year, normally that's not good as far as trying to get it back in the economy or try to get back on a job. But I've heard that so many different times between 6 to 12. Don't be outside the job industry if you're going back to work. It's just so many things. Because the longer you're unemployed, the harder it is going to get for you to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see so many people going to work at Mickey D's and don't get they're paying their people better than some of these other jobs.
Right.
I think what it is now they're going anywhere between starting $15 to $18 an hour, working at McDonald's or fast food restaurants.
Yeah, they need the people, man. They need them.
And they know that people have to have more than one job just to live.
Right.
And then they wonder why the customer service is not good anymore because these people, they want them to work their butt hinds off, but they don't want to pay them anything. Like even like going into Rose's, that's one of my stores that me and Kathy always run to each other. They only make, Rose's is still making $7 something an hour. $7 and that's just ridiculous. And there was a school teacher that works she's a full-time school teacher, but she works at Rose too because she said that she can't maintain her bills by just.
Well, see, nowadays the household has to have two job incomes in order for households to say. I mean, it's just like, for example, what they were saying. What you got to make, I think that for this area, in order to live comfortable, you got to make at least like $24 an hour, 40 hours a week in order to live comfortable in the Cumberland County area. That speaks volumes, and I mean. Like sometimes I sit back and I listen to how people are saying they're paying anywhere between $1,300 to $1,600 for a trailer. How much like nowadays you go out? What a trailer will cost you anywhere between like 80. I would think a real nice one will cost you about 100,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, I'm looking at. I told Kathy, I said the RVs are looking better and better every day. Because
hey, them parks are nice. They have luxury RV parks now. I'm telling you.
That's why I said it's like nowadays you have to really be prepared.
Yeah.
When you say retirement, okay, what does that mean? Because like a lot of people, I sit back and I know a lot of people who are retired, but guess what? They got retirement and disability coming in, so they're pushing anywhere between $5,000 to $9,000 a month. So they're able to go out and really retire, go on vacations, enjoy themselves, do things like that.
Right.
But you have to really like buckle down on your spending, have a good budget to maintain that lifestyle. Most of the time, people work because of the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's true.
The moment you live outside your budget or outside your means, that's where you start having financial problems.
I got a friend now. We talked about 2-3 days ago. She has 7 jobs. 7 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And her husband has He got about 3 jobs.
3.
Mm.
So they have a lifestyle, and
Right.
they be tired as a dog. And I said, baby, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's something
Oh.
like say again. That goes back to when you have these lifestyles, you got to live up to it. If you're certain, like me, if I had to, if I had to live a certain way, like I look. Let me go get one of these little trailers and hook up to the back of the truck. Okay,
Yeah.
we rolling down. I can live the rich life. Look, I can live a rich life then,
Right.
but when you're talking about having a house and then you got to understand your budget. You got to understand what all that ties into.
Yeah, shoot, at this point now, your best bet get you an RV with all these RV parks they got
I'm
around.
telling you. Look, I've been looking at them a lot lately because I was telling Kathy that would be one of the greatest things is to be able to get an RV and just travel from the East Coast to the West Coast and just live. I just want to do that one time. That's all I would do is just one time.
They have a sewer hookup and they have a water hookup. You good, and the communities are outstanding. You never hear about RV having shootings, murders, kidnappings, none of that.
Right.
Because it's a nice little community.
Right.
It really is. You go there, you plug up, you back in, do your thing, and most of the time they have little block parties where everybody will put in something.
And that's why we do have to start, like you said, start with our children and our grandchildren, because now this generation, all they want to do is smoke weed, drink alcohol. They don't care about the rainy days. They don't care about none of that.
And biggest thing, not listen.
Right, that too. They feel entitled. Like, well, I can take my money, I can do whatever, but I need your money to pay my cell phone bill and keep my lights on. You know what I'm saying? And so when you try.
But I was gonna say, but most of the time, like that just comes from not again. That's what I'm saying. It goes back to where we're not teaching them the importance of like managing your money to where you're putting the money aside. Because my thing is this: if you never grew up in that environment, or if no one's never took time to explain or tell you about it, you won't know. Like me, I know I didn't understand. I mean, I know I didn't understand because I lost my mom when I went to Korea. I tried to buy everything, and my paycheck it wasn't but like $900 something. So, like at that point in time, now you know that's different. But I think that's one of the things is that you like me. Until I bounced a check at the PX, and the punishment was I had to go to budget counseling class at the ACS. That was my first introduction into how to properly manage your money.
Yeah,
even though I was coming up with some outrage, because like you get that little worksheet, and that little worksheet, how much money you want to spend on entertainment? $1,000. Okay, how you gonna spend $1,000? You only make $900. Hey, you asked the question, you know. So those are things that those are things that you have to be realistic when you sit down to the budget counseling classes. And like for me, getting it that early in my military career, I learned how to try to do better with managing my money. And that's just it. Some people just don't have the skill set to manage their money because they're either trying to keep up with the Smiths or Jones. They're like I said, they're bad habits. Like to me now, we didn't have access to a lot of the bad habits that we have access to now.
No.
There was not that many additional. Then like you look at the bills that you have. I mean, everybody has to have like right now. What the average bills back then was maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got like anywhere between 5 to 8. Depends on how your lifestyle is.
And we was robbing Peter to pay Paul. I mean, when we was younger, but we both was working, but we still, you know what I'm saying though. But we never fell behind anything. We always ate, but we realized that we got to come up out of this. You understand what I'm saying?
Blowing money, we end up
because and so we learned that ourselves. Once you sit and you see everything around and how money is going out, you're gonna come. You're gonna have that sense to say, you know what, we got to change. We got to change the way we do things. We got to change the way we think. It's gonna be one day where you're not gonna be in the military. We're gonna be in the military, so we got to figure. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we did at a young age and stuff like that, Mario. We had that. But I know my mom taught us as much as she knew. But she would always tell us though, this is what I learned. Pay your bills. This is what she said. She said, pay your bills. and save some money. That's all I knew, Mario. Pay your bills and save your money. You know, that's what she taught, still does. So.
And that ACS class was outstanding. I enjoyed that class so much that I went and talked to the first sergeant commander to have that lady come by and get that class every other sergeant time training. And you'd be surprised at the number of people that were saying, I didn't know this, I didn't have an idea about this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Because that was a great class. It taught you, it wasn't a punishment. It actually taught you. I said, well, why it got to be a punishment? Why can't you just give the class? And she was like, yeah, because you know they got to keep a count of how many people they do it. I said, well, you just come on in here and do this class. People there, you'd be surprised at how many people don't know. They just don't know. All I knew is the more rank I get, the more money I have to spend. That's not how it works. This E7 had spent thousands of dollars on Starbucks. Didn't know where her money was going. Well, that $2,000 you spending every day going to Starbucks because you a preferred customer, you'd be surprised.
I ain't part of no fad. We never been part of no fad.
We sat down.
we make our own. We use Maxwell House.
we sat down.
I use water with a spoon.
That's right. We sat down, we looked at it, it's like, man, I'm tired of robbing Peter to pay Paul. What's going on? We started pinpointing where our money was going.
Went out to eat a lot.
Instead of blowing this money here, when we put that money over there and save it.
I mean, like, for a perfect example, when you said that, the first thing came to my mind is nowadays, like, people don't do cable. So everybody goes out and get this, like, they got the smart TV with the hooked up to your Wi-Fi. So your primary bill is the Wi-Fi. But then the apps, depends on what apps you want. Like I sat back and I actually had to sit down and look at how much am I paying in different apps versus a cable bill. And when you do the comparison, I'm like, well, dang. But then you think about it on the cable bill, though, you're paying for stuff that you're never going to use.
That's right.
With the app, you pretty much know what you're going to watch because that's why you bought the app from the very beginning. So, but it's like some people, I tell people, sometimes, hey, get that 1-2 app. Hey, that's all you need. Netflix and HBO and Cinemax or whatever it is that floats your boat. But that's just something nowadays is technology has changed how we spend our money.
Right.
And that's what we did. We looked at that overpriced bill we was
having. Yeah.
And we said, okay, well, let's get these apps. And man, it wasn't even the contest, was it? It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. We're not even paying $100 for these apps.
Right. But that goes back to this.
3 times. No, I'm good.
Right. Because think about it, because now what? You can pay almost $80, $90 for internet. In today's society, you need internet.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't care what nobody says, no matter what, everything relies on internet. So that's now become a common. Now, it used to be back in the days, the only bills you had to worry about was you pay your rent or your mortgage, you pay your utility bills, and then you pay, what was the other one? Utilities and your phone bill.
Right.
So those were it. Now you got your utilities, you got your mortgage, your rent, you got your internet, you got your, so these are there's a couple of extra things you have to have. But someone told me, oh, I don't have to have internet. Okay. I'll see you sitting at McDonald's all the time. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because even something as simple as the alarm panels. Remember back in the day, you had to get the package with the telephone, cable, and internet because you had to have a line to your panel. Now the panel comes with cell phone cards in them. You don't even need that no more. So all you need is internet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have internet. You will not make it without internet.
And then also too, like you said, we get income once a month, and you have to learn how to do that.
Budget.
That B word. Don't say it.
The bills, but then what we do, we take money and we spread it out different places. We have to put savings some over here, a little bit over here, stuff like that. And so that's why I said, people. It's so funny because people know, you always in the store shopping. I said, yeah, but I ain't gonna be homeless though.
Oh, hungry.
You know what I'm saying? I'll sit out, So I know what it is. I can go on Roses and buy me a $10 dress. I can, you know what I'm saying, Mario? I'm not a fad person. I'm not an expensive person. I don't like Coaches and all out. That's just not Marcella. I'd rather go buy a picture, put on my wall in my house. That's just me. I can look good at a $10 dress. So, you know, we make sure that, you know, we have a budget to where we go out and he spend or I spend, but you know, we do it in to where we got to say, Mario, we hungry, you know. Nah, we not. Some people do that. They go out here and they spend their bill money, and then they call their friends and family and say they're hungry.
Well, and the thing is, you got to prioritize. That's the biggest issue is budget and prioritize on what's necessary. Because like I've seen, like in the back in the days, I've seen where soldiers would, and I think that was one of the biggest things. I would always wonder, why were you focused on your phone bill, where your rent is your shelter?
Right.
And I would like, because you know, back in the day we used to have to pay for the minutes and stuff, and
yeah, oh yeah.
Can't come on.
Yeah, you know, you gotta wait till after 9 o'clock just to call somebody. Yeah. I mean, but see, that's what I'm saying is that we have to see how we can make people successful.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We know what makes people successful.
Yeah.
Why are we not teaching this in our school systems anymore?
I know.
Why are we not taking time out to educate people on, like, because like right now we have a society that is in, I mean, like I think what they said, I was looking, they said 80% of the people in the United States is in debt.
Yeah.
Over $25,000 worth of in debt.
That's what they want. They stopped teaching it in school because they wanted them to follow suit.
I don't think they never taught it in school, to be honest.
Now, for me,
I never got that course.
It was never taught in school. They teach us that.
For me, we had a check writing class in let's call it personal finance class, and it's taught us a little bit about it, but they don't harp on it because
I did have that class in middle school, but I failed that class because I was buying up stuff and it wasn't supposed to be. Because like in Kansas, what they did was when we was stationed at Fort Leavenworth when we were going to school, is they take you out to this marked little place, and they say you got so much money. I'm telling you, that's bad when you go to a fake place with fake money and you bouncing checks.
Yeah. So the word got out about how we handle our bills and according to debt. So first I'm like, hey, would you talk to people? I said, yeah, if they're willing. But you got to make them open. I said, yeah, okay. So you'd be surprised at how many people realize that they're paying too much money for something simple as a cell phone. All the little knickknacks they put on that bill for you because you want the iPhone, the AirPods,
every year they come up with
the Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
You want this, and this. When you can just get a simple plan, why not try to pay for your phone outright? And you cut off all that excess stuff. They want you to get this stuff. They want you to get the iPads, all this and all that, so your bill can be $9 million.
Look, you talking crazy now. I don't know what you look. Well, I don't know what planet you live in. You know, I got to have my 5,000 iPads. I don't know what you talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I got to have that iWatch, and I got to have that. You know, they got the Ring thing now, right?
Yeah. It's just like everything. That's what they want you to go to.
They be sucking y'all in.
Yeah.
So, that's why my name is Sucker.
I had one guy.
Right. They be sucking y'all in. Boy.
I had one guy that was paying almost $700 a month in phone bills. I said, why do you have adults on your phone plan? He said, well, they was on my plan for whatever reason. I just never took them off. I said, they grown. Why not take them off? And then it's just you and your wife. I don't understand that, because how we taught our kids is once you become of age, you start working, you get your own phone plan. Mm-hmm. And it made sense to them because I can't tell you what to do on your phone, King. Yeah, you right, Daddy. Boom, there you have it. You good, you straight.
Look, so give them the motivation to get off.
Yeah.
Right.
And it works. You have to be you got a. If you don't want to end up on the wrong side of the tracks, you got to do what you got to do to keep your head above water. Be willing, be open, listen.
I think that's the biggest focus point. I think we're coming up. I said we're a little bit. So that's the biggest focus point is that when it comes to retirement, you really have to understand the foundation of retirement is managing your money with that B word called budget.
Woo.
You got to be in order to retire to have a good retirement. Because anybody can retire, but to actually retire, where you're able to just enjoy your life, you got to know how to control your finances. And most people nowadays, I'm telling you, living paycheck to paycheck is just not how it is. But I get it, society, you're not making the money, they're not paying the money, especially when you like places like I was looking at like you go to like we was in Virginia just like these last 2 days, and you go to Virginia. Me and my wife were talking. You can start up a good business in Virginia and do good. If you're in the Hampton Roads area, the Newport News, you would do good because there's so many different communities / cities. So you're going to do good, but you come somewhere like Fayetteville, you're not going to do good. And I'm not bad mouthing Fayetteville, but I'm just saying that majority of the mom and pop shops here are not paying people what they're worth. And that is one of the biggest issues. Like, what major industry do we have here in Fayetteville?
Leaving.
Majority of it's factory work.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Work. So if you're not working at a factory, you're not really making it. Like, I mean, because then you look at the school system. Those teachers are not making. It blew my mind that I make more money retired than they do working a full-time job dealing with the children every day.
And a lot of the stuff that they do is out of pocket.
Right. So that's why I said that the economy, and that's why I tell people, like, and some people said red and blue state. Okay, well, yeah, that, the politics. But at the same time, it depends on what it is that you're doing. Is you have to understand the industry, you understand the market, you have to understand all that detail. So when you go in, you're talking about retirement, are you choosing the right location to prepare yourself for retirement? That is what, because what happens? What happens most of the time? People are up north, working those jobs, making all that good money, and then they come down to North Carolina to retire. So those are things that people have to take into consideration. Like if you're not retiring here in Fayetteville, you're in the wrong place for a job. Some people don't have a choice. Just because like someone was telling me, I was talking to someone yesterday, you can go somewhere else, make $25, $30 for what they're paying you here for $12.
But they got the cost of living though, right, Mario?
Right, but it has a lot to do with the cost of living, because if I can go somewhere and I can pay $600 for rent, and I may able to save some money, because then that's where that if 30% of my paycheck is going to my rent, there's no excuse on why I can't save money.
That's right.
But if 75% or 50% or more of what I make is going in, there's no way you can save money. So that's why I said you understand, because this economy, believe it or not, the majority of the rent here is based off the military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, in any city with military in it, they're gonna base that off of them.
But you know what? But then you go places like Norfolk, for example. You go to Hampton Roads area, the housing that the military has no effect on that economy, because the economy is booming.
Yeah.
But when you're in a military town, when the military is in a poor, I ain't gonna say poor, because it's like what they say there's a tier one city, then the economy here is terrible. So then there's the military. Like if you got all these people coming, then people who are in real estate is going to try to make that money. So their primary focus is the military.
Because I think that if the military wasn't here in Fayetteville wouldn't be like it is. The military keeps Fayetteville going. I really believe that.
Right. And see, like if you drive right down the street, go to Greenville, North Carolina, go to Kinston, go to all the other places, you won't see these ridiculous prices for rent.
Right.
but because we're here, because the lowest ranking person E1 gets I think like $1,700 for rent for housing.
Yeah, I think so.
E1 gets 17. So
Wow.
but that's why I said, but if you're serious about retirement, everything has to be properly lined up.
Right.
Mhm.
And here it's just like I tell people all the time. I keep saying it. People that are from here are not going to be able to afford to stay here.
Right. Exactly. I was
But
ready to go.
but we're at the end. So what would you, if you had to tell a young person today about retirement, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that they have to start thinking about it based on finances, based on their credit being good, and based on them saving. And I would tell them they have to start preparing now. They have to get into that mindset that this is real. Like one day you are going to retire, and you're going to have to set yourself up for that. So why not just now learn the financial literacy and start now, even if it's just putting $20. I'm telling them to start early. I would tell them to start early. Start your retirement, keep your credit in order, and start sacrificing and saving money. That's what I would tell them.
What would you tell them, Eric?
Plan. Know what your spending habits are. Know what you want to do in retirement Know where you want to go in retirement. If money goes through your hands, you can save it. Start now. Ain't nobody see another misconception is saving money. That means you got to put $2,000 in the bank every month. No, money adds up. You can just put $20 here, okay, $20 there, $20 here, and it adds up. So you get into that process. You get used to it. You start doing it. Then by the time you retire, you got a lot of nice little nest egg up in there. Like you said, start your financial literacy now. Know what your spending habits are. Know where your money goes. Somebody asks you where your money going now. We both could tell you, oh, it's going this. I got to do that. I spent this much for this month. It's nothing for us to ask. Hey, baby, what's this $26 from Rose? Oh, that was me. Okay, cool. Hey, what's this $15 from so and so? Oh, that was me. Yeah, oh, I'm afraid. You have to be able to, and you have to be open and willing to learn financial literacy. If you don't, a lot of people don't want to. I just want to live how I live and deal with what I deal with. No, you have to be willing and open to learn financial literacy because you'd be surprised at what comes out of it.
I would say my thing would be credit and savings.
Yes.
Understand the two. Understand how important they are. And I know my oldest son, he's out there, and I love the fact that he has a high credit score. I wish I had the credit score that he has when I was his age, because things would be different. But it's like those are two things that for our youth, we can plan on. Like, for example, I know some parents are able to set things up where they're able to have access to a debit card and they understand how to use a debit card. Don't be like me and understand how you can float a check. I was a pro at that, but that was back during the check cashing. Now technology, you can't do that because the moment you do a check, it immediately comes out your account. So I would just say that people need to understand how to properly manage your credit, maintain your credit report, credit score, and then savings. It never hurts to put some money aside, even if it's nothing but $5, whatever. It only takes just a little bit. It just takes a little bit.
Wait, say real quick, rainy day. Say something for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was good. This was good. See, like y'all let me reminiscing to my floating check days. Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yo, Rubber Band Man. Remember that song?
Rubber Band Man.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yo, you thought you was doing something.
I'm telling you, look, I would float that. Look, I would go into the PX. I got 7 days. Here we go.
Wow.
And then we were overseas, so it took even. It always worked out.
Oh,
Yeah, it took extra
All
time.
it took,
overseas.
all it took was one time. Y'all took one time, and that thing said, "Bow." I said, "Uh-oh, who's at the phone?" The PX is calling, want to talk to your commander. Oh, okay. Let me go step out here for. But
right.
yeah, those were good old days. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope y'all enjoyed this show. We'll see y'all next week. This was something more so because right now we're hearing about Social Security, we're hearing about retirement, we're talking about the age. I think the age just changed just recently, so people need to be aware, pay attention, and like I said, do your homework. It doesn't hurt to do your homework on future. It's okay to plan.
Right.
Plan is not it's not as painful as people think it is.
Yep.
So, all right, y'all have a great evening. We'll see y'all next time.
Have a good evening.
Night.